drug addiction, and yeah, I decided to share this story because I just got that feeling like deep inside me where I just think that if that story can help at least one person to feel less alone when fighting with their addiction, their any kind of disorder, any kind of illness, mental or physical, or any problem, then it's worth it, and I felt like I've got to do it. And so before I start, I would just quickly want to tell this video is not meant to blame on anyone, because all the decisions I've made myself, and I'm fully responsible for all my actions. And also I decided I won't be listing any names of the drugs, because I know how it is, and I just don't want to influence anyone directly or indirectly, as I just believe the purpose of this video is completely different. And so let's start it. The story begins in 2011, which is quite some time ago. I was 15 at that time, and at home we got to a situation where my mum was ill for quite some time already, and me as the oldest child, I had to kind of get much more mature than my other peers, and to take quite a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. And so I would just do things like washing, cleaning, cooking, doing lessons with my younger siblings, and I just felt like it's a lot. And also it was the age where you just like want to get crazy, want to party, and want to try new other things. And there was one, I guess that was the main thing, that I felt absolutely lost. I felt absolutely lost in the society I lived in. I felt lost in the system, in the school, where it was all about just going higher, better, faster, and it was just all about those comparisons, who's like better, worst, and it was just a mad horse race where nobody cared about anybody's feelings. And I was just like so fed up. I just felt this is so not right. I just felt that nobody gives us a choice to choose what we really want, and to choose what is important for me or anybody else. And so I just wanted anything what's gonna be against this, and I found it really quickly. And not even months later, I met a guy who kind of fascinated and scared me at the same time. And it makes sense now, but I just got at his house, and him and his friends were doing drugs, and I just went there and I said I want some as well. But I've told them I already had some before, so after I got some, I got absolutely crazy. I never felt anything like this, like anything. My head was just spinning, and I could hear my thoughts talking to me, and all those senses like touch and smell and sound and everything, the colors, they were just so much more intense. But they didn't really know they've got to kind of take care of me, because they didn't know, and they ended up fighting about something stupid, and I ended up sitting in the other room, just by myself, with all those like new feelings, and I just thought to myself that if those drugs would be used with different people, they might actually be really amazing. And so instead of scaring myself, I've made myself new friends, because that's the thing about drugs, you don't do them on your own. I've made myself new friends whom I felt really welcomed, and I felt like they're doing something really cool, because they just don't go with the mainstream society, they're living against it, and they're so rebellious, and that's what I thought I need. And I thought I found myself, kind of. And so we started to party every weekend, and we started to test different drugs and the effects it causes on us. And we were experimenting and trying, and it would go for a few months. And then I remember waking up one morning and just feeling like I need some more. And I started to think, and I couldn't remember when I had a break last time. I started to realize this is becoming my daily thing, and I'm 16, and my daily morning routine would be about doing a drug, lying in a bed, doing the drugs, lying in a bed for about 10 more minutes, then waking up and going to school, pretending nothing's going on. And if I really wanted to feel any extra effects, like at the beginning, I would have to get much bigger amount of the drug, and it started to be really scary, but I just thought I still got it under control. And there was one particular moment when I went to my friend's house, and he knew I'm coming, but he wasn't opening the door. So I let myself in, and I remember finding him on the floor in the bathroom, unconscious, and I just stood there, and I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't know what to do. So I've just tried if he's still alive, and then I called my friend and I told her that I'm there and he's unconscious and he's overdosed and I don't know what to do. And so she said to just wait, and that she's on the way. And so she came in, and like they took care of him. And in that moment I realized it started it's just not fun anymore. I had to admit that this is getting kind of scary, and yeah, but I just carried on, and the situation at home started to get much worse. I couldn't be here because I was just constantly on drugs, and I couldn't be with people who didn't know because it just made me feel like someone's still watching me and observing me. But they kind of were, because we were so... because something was really happening with me. And also the situation at school was getting worse. I was skipping lessons, I was skipping school, and I didn't care at all, because all that counted to me at that time was to get my drugs. And really quickly, all my moral kind of borders which I thought I would never go through, were like nothing. I would start to lie, but like constantly. I would just lie to everybody all the time, and I would hurt the people I loved, and I would just abuse them, and I would just leave them there, and I just didn't care. And I started to steal my parents' money and in the shops, and I would just do things I never thought I would do. And I know it was drugs that made me do those things, but still. And so I started to convince myself that I don't deserve to have a family, to belong to someone who's kind of normal, and I don't deserve to live a normal life, and I don't deserve to get clear. And so I was just kind of putting myself deeper and deeper in that shit. And I guess I was about 17, because everything's like blurry and mixed up, because I wouldn't sleep for about 3-4 days in a row, for example, and then I would hallucinate here and there, and I would just be so out of my head. And also my body was about 47 kilo at that time, where I'm 175 centimeters, so it was really low, and my body was so wasted. And yeah, I was about 17, and I started to have those thoughts like, there's no freaking hope for me, that I would just live till 27, as many famous people like Amy Winehouse or Jimi Hendrix or whoever, and then I would overdose and I would just end up, because and that's gonna be my life. But the situation would just get worse and worse, and then I would have the worst 18th birthday party ever, where I ended up crying in a bathroom, basically the whole party, because it was just nightmare. It was just the people who knew me as a normal and told me they're not gonna be on a party with all those like junkies, and there were quite a few things, but it was just like horrible. And remember sitting in the toilet and crying, and I just started to have all those like suicide thoughts that I just don't deserve to live, to be alive, and I don't deserve to even to be helped and to have kids, or to be clear, but I don't even deserve to have a normal party because it just wasn't normal. And yeah, but even then, because I kind of like, I kept putting myself in a place where I don't deserve to change then, so I wouldn't change. And it got me to a point where a few months later, I would stand at a train station on my own, with no money, with no phone, nobody to go to and sleep overnight, and with no food, with no cigarettes, which I thought was really important for me. And I remember being so freaking cold because I was about 45 kilo at that time, and I just remember standing there, and suddenly I just heard that voice in my head telling me that I actually have got only two choices now. The first one is to carry on the life I'm living, ending up homeless, which would lead me to basically end up in a madhouse or jail, which I could end up in because I was 18, and that would be my life. Or I can finally change and get clear and get out of this shit. And I just felt such a strong intuitive feeling that this is the moment where I need to make the right decision finally. And so I did. I've asked myself what I need to get clear, and I don't even know how. I've met my friend who told me I can sleep at his house for as long as I need. So I got there, and I would just sit in by a computer, and I would send my CV to like, I've sent my CV everywhere where possible, but just away from where I was. And I went to bed, and I got through 4 days crazy detox where I would just fever, and I would get shivers, and I would shake, and I would sleep. But after those 4 days, feeling really like not well at all, but feeling like I need to wake up, I would open my mailbox, and there was one positive response, and so I would call that number, and the guy told me I can start straight away. And I remember phoning up my dad, telling him I need to leave and I need money for a train ticket, and telling him that I'll be there this afternoon, asking him if he can come, and he would say I'll be there. And so we met at the train station, and I remember him walking to me and seeing his child absolutely lost, absolutely wasted. And I could see that he kind of don't know if I will ever come back, but he didn't know how to help me. And so he would pay for that ticket, and he would just like hug me and tell me to get better. And I was just speechless because I couldn't tell him that I'll be fine because I didn't know. I just had that strong hope that I'm doing the right thing, and that trust in my intuition will bring me more into peace and will help me to find myself finally after such a long time. And so I went away. I went to the middle of nowhere, and I would go through crazy detox work kind of experience that helped me to heal from most of my demons. And then I would go back home for a couple days to apologize to my parents, to my family, for everything what I've done, and promising that I will do my best to get out of this shit, but also realizing that I've got to, like, I can't be there yet. I can't live with them yet. And so I decided to move to UK for I didn't know how long. And so I did, and it was the best experience because I had to finally get responsible for myself, and I had time. I gave myself time to get to know myself and to discover many things about me, kind of rediscover many things about me. But also it got me to a place where I realized that naive me thinking that the drugs were only where I was, I realized they're gonna be everywhere. Then so I've had some few times here and there, but it would always get me to a point where I just knew that's not doing anything good for me. And so yeah, but I felt like I want to go home. I felt I'm really ready to go home, so I went back home in 2018 and almost went back in the same shit when meeting all the people. But again, I just asked myself the question, if this is really what I want to do, if this is really the life I want to live. And the answer was always no. So I just kept trying to be strong, and then everything changed when I got pregnant, and I quit with smoking, with drinking, with any kind of things I would still kind of use here and there. And I have made another significant change, and from that moment I just freaking know that every freaking day we've got the chance to decide, to get the control over our life, to decide what we really want and to go for it. And I just know there is such a freaking power inside each of us, and we can do whatever we want. And those decisions is never easy, and keeping up to them is even harder. And it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of kindness to yourself, and it takes a lot of forgiveness for failing, and it takes a lot of love and a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. I just know we are so beautiful, we are so strong, we are so powerful, and we don't have to go the hard way to find out who we really are. We just need to listen to ourselves, to our intuition, and yeah, we just need to believe in ourselves more than anyone else, and we will thrive. And I guess that's the end of the story. And if you was watching until now, then thank you, and yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing if you want to share this with anyone you think need this. And if you want to find me, I'll link my Instagram here. And if you've got any questions, just ask, and I'll try to answer them. Thank you one more time from the depth of my heart. Bye.